Hi everyone, here's the book once again. Today I'm reviewing Running Dog by DeLillo, one of DeLillo's early works. This one is from the late 70s and quite frankly one of his most entertaining and fun, and possibly even among his very best. In terms of sheer thrills, it's up there with Libra when it comes to how fast it is, how action-packed and entertaining, and it features a diverse cast of characters ranging from art collectors to politicians to secret agents working, maybe not working, for the US government, to straight up crazy people a la Apocalypse Now's Kurtz. The main thread connecting all these people is that they are all in one way or another after a supposed movie from 1945 filmed in Hitler's bunker in Berlin in the last days of the war, and this is supposed to be a dirty movie, a homemade porn movie, maybe featuring the old man himself, maybe not. It might exist, it might not exist, but very soon in the course of the novel, horrible things start to happen to the people trying to market this movie, and things quickly go downhill from there. The movie is an excuse, as these things often are in DeLillo's fiction, to talk about a specific scene, specifically the world of erotica, ranging from works of art from all across history, sculptures, paintings and more, to the smuggling of illegal pornography handled mostly by the mafia families of the US and Canada and everything in between. And also alongside that world of erotica, the world of Hitler scholarship, of people, particularly one character in the novel, obsessed with Hitler as a historical figure, the differences between his political and personal persona, his the many facets of his personality. In this sense, Running Dog is almost an early draft or a companion piece to White Noise, the other DeLillo novel featuring a character obsessed with Hitler. In that novel, Hitler studies are apparently an academic discipline in itself. But when I say that the movie is an excuse to talk about these worlds, and this is going to sound obvious if you're a DeLillo aficionado, but not so much if you're a newcomer, it's not like the novel focuses too much on what this world is about, how it works, what it's made of. To put it bluntly, for all that it's a book about the world of erotica and pornography, there's not at all any sort of 50 Shades of Greyish kind of stuff in the novel. More than that, DeLillo is interested in the characters who care about these worlds, the characters who move in the world of erotica and who are obsessed with Hitler's historical figure. What fascinates them about these things? How do they relate with the subject of their work or of their passions? Are they outsider figures in the America he writes in and about? Or do they belong and do they tap into some broader current that is shared by the nation as a whole and by the society as a whole? And Running Dog is a pleasure to read, even just to learn about all these different characters, about the family life of the mobsters dealing with this stuff, about the art auctioneer playing his potential buyers against one another. You do get the occasional tough philosophical DeLillo character, which you often encounter, especially in his later fiction, but also really across his entire oeuvre, that at one point in the course of the novel has to retire to some isolated location, usually the desert, for reasons that are more spiritual and cerebral than they are truly understandable or relatable. But still, the other big concern of Running Dog is depicting an international scene, but also an American society in which the struggles of the Cold War and of the civil rights movement and the dynamics of corruption have become so tangled up that it becomes impossible really to identify enemies and foes anymore. The book gives an entire new definition to the whole idea of going to bed with the enemy, in the way it portrays this conflict between the establishment and counter forces as quintessentially absurd, as really something that would be hilarious if only people weren't dying. The novel is definitely the most Pinchonian among DeLillo's books. And also because it features the classic sexual relationship between a leftist woman and a man who is a servant of an evil establishment. It's a plot trope, it's a plot structure Pynchon uses in pretty much all of his novels. And to reiterate how interesting and rewarding the character arcs are in Running Dog, remember how I said that the Hitler movie is what makes the plot move forward? Well, that's true, but it's especially true in the first part of the book, because once things start to get, well, basically to go to shit for most of the characters, then their individual stories and cracking their personal secrets becomes so interesting that I kind of forgot about the whole Hitler movie. And you get a solution there, you get conclusion, don't get me wrong, but it's enough to learn about these characters and to follow them through. And this is the time when I stopped talking about the book for people who haven't read it, and it's an amazing novel. I didn't expect to enjoy it so much, and I absolutely recommend it. It might actually be a very good introduction to Don DeLillo if you've never read him. Why not? Go with Running Dog, but let me know what you think about it, of course, in the comments below. For those of you who feel like sticking around, who've read the book, I'm just going to say that I loved the conclusion. It was a strong conclusion, it was a shocking moment when the Hitler movies actually showed, and it ties in beautifully with this concern of the novel, with the fact that in the late 70s international foreign relationships scenario, well, people were expecting grand violence, people were expecting apocalyptic ideas. Lightbourne and Robbins were expecting this movie to be some kind of grand apocalyptic orgy, but in fact it's just silly stuff. It gives a whole new spin on that idea that history repeats itself not as tragedy but as farce. And that's disheartening up to a point, because the machineries of war in the United States in this book, they kill people even though they act for ridiculous reasons. They still murder people and they still cause great suffering. At the same time, it's also empowering in a way to have these, well, these dark historical figures ridiculed. There's power in laughter, and there's power in the kind of treatment that DeLillo offers in the book. It strips these ideas from auras of untouchability that are sometimes attached to them, and that's great. Possibly the one complaint I might have about the book, I mentioned that idea that these forces, this how is it called, spec cord, radial matrix spec cord, the whole reason why they go ballistic and decide to hunt Glenn Selvey like he is the Red October doesn't really make sense. It's a kind of a flimsy reason in terms of plot, but that's a minor complaint. If anything, it highlights that idea of the absurd, the ridiculous reasons motivating and animating these kind of structures, these machineries of war. It further ridicules these institutions and these powerful, supposedly powerful men. I loved Running Dog, I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And thank you for watching the video. In a second I'll put links on the screen to others of my video. Maybe my review of Mao Chu from last year. I'll have to confess one thing. For all that I believe Mao Chu is much more revered in DeLillo's canon than Running Dog, I had so much of a better time with Running Dog. Mao Chu, my experience reading that one, I was in awe part of the time, but part of the time I found myself fainting on my desk and waking up hours later with my possessions stolen. If I have to be honest, Running Dog was entertaining and stimulating all the way through. But anyway, what do you think? Let me know. Bye guys.